The phrase time is money is about to get real for this one. In this world, people are genetically engineered to age till 25 years. Then a clock on their arm is set off. For the rest of their lives, they have to buy time to not let the clock go down to zero. So their currency is time. Wages are in time, and things are bought by selling time. Will Sales is a guy who lives with his mom and has only a day's worth of time left. Will is a laborer who works hard to earn his time and won't survive if he loses his job for even a day. As he leaves to work and his mother leaves to pay off her loans, Will's generous nature is portrayed as he donates some time to a girl in need even though he doesn't have much of his own. People also rob each other's time to survive in this world. Will works hard the entire day only to not get paid enough due to cost cuts. He then goes to meet his friend Boral in a bar who is currently wasted because someone with an immense amount of time is buying drinks for everyone. Will warns that guy, Henry Hamilton, who has a century worth of time, that he is valuable and the mafia time snatchers would come to attack and steal his time. Will's speculation was correct since the person's whereabouts were sold to a time snatcher, Fortis. Fortis and his men appear there, making Will send his friend away to safety. Henry is asked to fight them for his time, but he's too wasted to do anything. They might have easily killed him if it weren't for Will somehow managing to save him. As the two hide, Henry rants about how this immortality is exhausting and that to get so much time to themselves, they will have to go after the lives of many others. Besides, he knows that this accumulation of time, aka wealth in the hands of only the influential people, isn't fair. Will retaliates that he sure wouldn't have wasted it on drinking and ignorance if he had this much time. Henry thinks about Will's words overnight, and then he transfers all his time to Will, sparing himself only 5 minutes to walk to a bridge, awaiting his final moments. When Will wakes up, he finds a fogged message telling him, "Don't waste my time." He then rushes to save Henry, but it's too late. The first thing Will does is go to Boral and reward him for 10 years for being such a good friend to him. Later on, Will is waiting at a bus stop for his mother, but when his mother gets on the bus, she realizes that inflation hit again. She was 30 minutes short of time on the 2-hour bus time. Not being able to get on the bus, she starts running rashly to reach her son before she loses all her time. When Will realizes something is off, he starts rushing too. They both see each other on a long road and start running toward each other with only a few seconds on his mother's watch. However, the moment she is about to touch Will's hand, her clock runs out, and she dies in his arms. Detective Ray finds Henry's body and wonders what he is doing in the poor time zone. He decides to dig into the case. Will manages to drive to Greenwich, the rich time zone, from his poor time zone, Dayton, by pretending that he got lost in that place. There are multiple borders to cross to reach that place, making the discrimination vivid. Detective Ray watches the surveillance footage that ironically only shows Will running away after looking down the bridge, and not that Henry himself jumped off. Will books himself to a suit and enjoys a few moments to himself. However, people do get suspicious of him because he has a habit of doing everything fast, a poor person trait who is always running out of time. Will has to pretend to blend in. He then goes to a casino where he comes across the Wise family, Philip and his daughter, Sylvia. Meanwhile, Ray finds out Will is someone who recently crossed the borders and also notices his unusually fast activities. Philip's view of time zones being the law of natural selection and survival of the fittest annoys Will, so he bets 2 centuries to Will's bid, leaving himself only 30 seconds. However, his confidence doesn't let him down, and he not only earns his time back, but also gets an invitation to the event hosted by the Wise family. At the party, Will and Sylvia interact with each other, where Sylvia talks about the poor people getting to live their lives freely and taking risks, which sounds like ignorance to Will. Will then takes her to the beach and tells her to go for a swim if she wants to take risks. This is flirting from Will's side, as he even wants to get to know her. Later, the timekeepers, aka the detectives or police, get to know where Will is and rush to arrest him. Since Will isn't a scammer, he comes clean in front of Ray about how Henry willingly gave him that time. However, who in the obnoxious time zones would believe him, not to mention the perfectly poor detective skills in Ray? They take up his time and leave only 2 hours to take him back to the ghetto zone. On the other hand, Sylvia is throwing a tantrum and rushing down without guards, confident that a single man won't be able to hurt her. But since Will is the main character, he pulls off some crazy action moves, abducts Sylvia, and then drives off. As they drive, Sylvia mocks Will, but does not try to resist anything that's happening. She even lends him some time so he can survive. However, on the road to Dayton, Fortis and his men plant an accident for the two of them and then run off after stealing Sylvia's time. Sylvia wakes up and freaks out, finding less than 30 minutes on her clock. But a broke Will helps a broker Sylvia and gives her some time. In Dayton, he rushes to Borrell for help first, but his wife comes out showing angst towards Will that Borrell celebrated the 10-year reward by drinking for 1 year's worth of time and dying of overdose with 9 years on his clock. Sylvia panics since she has only a few minutes left. Will takes her to the pawn shop, sells her earrings, and gets them a day's worth of time in exchange. He then makes her call her family and threatens them to send 1,000 years to Dayton's timeline for Sylvia's freedom. As the family contemplates, Will takes Sylvia to his old house, and the two of them talk about their lives. Will has no anger towards Sylvia for being born rich. The next day, Will feels secondhand embarrassment for their generosity, as Philip has not done anything for Sylvia yet. He tells Sylvia that she can go, but she wants him to keep fighting for his cause, while she can take the blame for running off here on her own. As she is talking to her father, Will does not realize Ray is already here. However, before Ray can touch Will, Sylvia shoots him in the arm. Being still a pure soul, Will gives enough time to Ray to get himself treated and then rushes off with Sylvia in a cop car. On their way, they steal a couple's car, earrings, and some time, and then rush to a place where they aren't easily located. The next day, Sylvia comes up with a plan to help Will's cause of helping Dayton. On her suggestion, they drive into one of her father's time banks and crash into it, taking some time for themselves. They tell the people of Dayton that they are free to take whatever. The two of them decide to keep doing this while playing hide-and-seek with the cops. On the other hand, Ray believes the decision of Will might cause more riots in Dayton than prosperity. Fortis proves Ray's speculation right as he starts stealing time from people and then looking for the two to earn the 10-year reward for them. Ray finds the location where Sylvia and Will are, but still, with some extraordinary run and chase, the two of them still escape to a hotel. Fortis threatens people and kills them to get information about the two of them. With this, he manages to find where they are and breaks into their hotel. Instead of some physical violence, he decides to play arms with Will. The arms are holding onto each other's arm and seeing who absorbs the other person's entire team first. Russian roulette of time. Initially, it seems like Will is losing, but he leaves Fortis out cold very soon. Will realizes people are still stealing, so Sylvia suggests they can steal the million-year time capsule with her father. They reach Greenwich and blend themselves as guards to force Philip to his office at gunpoint and take the capsule. Philip believes immortality comes at a cost, while Ray believes no one deserves immortality if it involves killing. Ray issues a shoot-at-sight order for the two of them, but the sneaky couple manages to escape to Dayton yet again. Giving away the million-year capsule creates such a crowd that they run away easily. As Ray chases them, he finally manages to catch them, this time when they are running short of time. However, in this case, Ray forgets to keep track of his own time and dies before shooting them. Talk about an unfulfilling and embarrassing death. Sylvia and Will are themselves falling short of time, but in the last moments, Will realizes cop cars have per day time wired to them, making the two of them barely survive yet again. Prosperity prevailed in Dayton, and the people confidently decided to cross borders to Greenwich. The authorities backed out of accepting the new flow that Sylvia and Will have created now. On the other hand, Sylvia and Will managed to live as the time robbers for the rest of their lives. Thanks for watching. Check out our other movie recaps or leave a suggestion as to which movie we should do next.